I'm Dr. Kate Mills, owner of Be Balanced Physical Therapy, and Happy New Year, and actually Merry Christmas to everybody, since it has been a minute since I've done one of these videos. I am sorry for the cruddy sound of my voice. I did bring back some family holiday cheer from our get-together in West Virginia in the form of contagious virus, but definitely on the better end of it. And since I didn't have much energy or the ability to focus on doing other types of work, thought that might be a good opportunity to catch up on some videos that I wanted to do, some things that I kind of been wanting to share. And so I want to start with the idea that my clients, let's just focus here on Parkinson's and stroke, do really well with activities that are salient to them, meaning that are meaningful, things that they used to do before around the house, things that they ideally enjoyed doing, was a part of sort of what made them feel productive, was just part of their responsibilities in the house or maybe at work. And I'm going to give you just a couple examples, but mainly I'm speaking to the caregivers out there or spouses, children of my clients, because what I often hear when they accompany them to therapy, and again, my clinic is an apartment. It's a kitchen. I have a bedroom over there, a real bathroom. This isn't like an exercise gym. What I do with my patients is pretty much completely functional. So when they come in and they're able to witness how well that their loved one is doing with certain reaching or leaning forward, rotating, while they're doing some of these daily activities that we all do, they are a lot of times sort of astonished, like, oh, well, he doesn't do that around the house, or I would have never thought that he could or felt safe with him doing that. And sometimes the response is, that is fantastic for you, and I love that for you for therapy. But my one sanctuary is the kitchen, and I don't want him in there with me having to be over his shoulder, potentially breaking dishes or falling into things. So I totally get that too. So everything, everything can be tweaked here and there depending on the situation at home and obviously the patient's safety and stability. But what I'm going to show you can be done in sitting or in standing. And usually as people get more comfortable with what they're doing together and see, oh yeah, he is pretty consistently good at doing this, I really don't have a concern anymore. It also helps them psychologically, mentally, to know that they're helping. It is one of the biggest factors that leads to depression and just wanting to give up. And you think about that's with all of us, not just people who have had their lives drastically impacted with a neurological diagnosis like Parkinson's or stroke. But if any of us lose our job, become even temporarily disabled, and we can't contribute to our family, or if we're single and we stop being able to support ourselves, that is, research shows over and over, just a huge variable that leads to depression, that feeling of helplessness. So it really behooves us all to look at things a little bit more that way. And caregivers have an absolute need to protect their quiet time and space and that sort of sanctuary or time of day. But this can totally be done without infringing on that. It just takes a little bit more creativity sometimes. And instead of just going about all the chores that you're used to doing because you're the only one in the house that does them, stop and think, could I set can I set John up with this? And it takes something off my list. And who cares if it's not perfect? but it's getting done, and it will only get better the more that he does it. So maybe, for instance, John could help you set a lot of the success in and how effective these activities are just literally in setting them up with certain heights and set it up a certain distance away. So for starters, a basket of clothes, instead of putting them right in front of it, set them to the side and maybe try to make sure that, depending on what their situation is, they're leaning over with their left hand, they're rotating, especially Parkinson's, rotating, grabbing, and I would start with towels, by the way. What you get out of this simple task, and either have a table in front of them, because try to make it as easy as possible for them. So going back to setup and spacing, how to make the activity more effective or more challenging. So they can either be doing it right here at a comfortable height, or you can have them being at a higher height, or then they have to maybe reach and rotate to their left side and put it up here. So you could say, I want everything, you can fold it here, but then could you please stack it over here? So now you're having them rotate to the right, rotate and flex. So the irony, Parkinson's and stroke patients just have a deep fear of this sort of bending forward, especially with the stroke client who's had a stroke on towards their involved side. They do not want to do that. As much as my Parkinson's patients, flex usually when they're standing, and when they're in sitting, they want to be like this. They do not want to be sitting up, and you try to make them bend forward, and it's, game on. They want to fight you tooth and nail. So having an armrest so they feel safe, but they're bending forward, having to reach further and further into the basket, rotating. Now you also get fine motor, dexterity, having them fold something. And for both stroke and Parkinson's, something that they often will lack or struggle with at some stage is spatial awareness. So if you even sort of show them, okay, I would like to, a lot of times with my towels, for instance, I'll try that tri-fold where they have to do that and then fold it in half. And so give them a demonstration, set it aside, and see if they can replicate that. If they start to grab with their right hand and not their left, so they're not doing as much rotation, that's my point. Who cares? They're bending forward, they're doing something, they're engaging both arms, hopefully. If it's a stroke that doesn't have that ability, they're still moving and using their trunk in a way that they don't usually. So there is no way to lose with setting them up something like this. So you've got spatial awareness, meaning can they fold it in half? Can they fold it in thirds? Can they match the kind of similar shape that you make? Then they're rotating and reaching. Maybe you have it set farther away, so they have to reach more like this. Another movement that is very unlikely unless you force it. That extension through the trunk. So you're extending to the trunk one way, you're rotating and flexing down. That's fantastic. That's all that simulates all sort of functional movements that they need in on a daily basis. And they're safe and they're helping you. Okay, so the other one would be, and again, I have some clients do this on a tall chair. If I don't feel that they're safe completely standing. So they could either, be sitting at something here, this level, so they're safe, but I don't want them way down in a regular chair. I want them to at least get up a little higher. It makes that pelvis go more forward when they have a seat height that's more like this. But otherwise, if they're able to stand, have them stand. Have them help put groceries away. For this purpose, I don't know if you can see, I always have, because why not, cones in all like different sizes and different levels. So excuse me, eat it with a cough drop. So what I will tell people is I try to make sure their feet are pretty close together so they can't, again, avoid weight shifting on that stroke side, or with Parkinson's, sometimes they have a more favored side. Try to make sure they're weight bearing evenly by keeping the feet closer. With a stroke, have them weight bear on their involved side. So if my stroke involved my left side, so they're not using their weak hand to do the reaching and potentially breaking, have them weight bear on this side, which is fantastic. And then just say, you know, could you take this many things down for me, or put them up and give them a specific place. The other way I like to do this is, again, have them there still weight bearing, rotate, put the table or whatever behind them and say, I need you to take out all, you know, the glasses for dinner, or I need you to put away, I'm gonna stack the paper towels over here, and I need you to put as many rolls as you can on that one shelf, and then the rest of the rolls, you know, go up higher. So you're giving them specific instructions to facilitate specific movements. And then I have the same thing down below. And I think you can still see. So again, I would love it if it's standing still, weight bearing, but now they're having to squat, just like if they have to pick something up off the floor. You can have a chair behind them so they're still safe if they can't squat that low. But squatting, shifting forward, I need you to grab this, you know, from down there. I need the pan, I need whatever, same thing, putting away things, taking things out. Just have them position themselves in a way that they're using their full body. Don't let them fake it or try to cut the corners, meaning don't let them try to do this where they're not really using their body the way that they're supposed to, proper body mechanics. Try to go down like this and say, I can't do it. Show them. You can, if you want to start sitting in a chair, you can definitely do it. You can lean that forward. Now try to stand up, just like you're about to sit in the chair. There is just a certain level of fear involved with certain, so sorry, not ideal really, but I'm not going back and starting over. A certain level of fear involved with certain movement patterns that they get a block to after, you know, a certain amount of time of the brain not working the way that it's supposed to. And then we continue to accept that, I hear all the time, I can't bend down to that side to pick that up because my arm doesn't go that far. Oh, well, let me see. And actually they can. They're fighting themselves. It's not your arm that won't reach that far. That arm, as it turns out, is the same length as the other one. You are just leaning more and more back when I'm asking you to get something forward. So you give them a purposeful task, a meaningful task, and say, it would really help me if you could fold those towels while I'm getting dinner started. And then come to find out, all of a sudden they're watching the news and they're leaning down with their arm because they feel safe. And it really just makes them feel good, even if it's been a long time since they have even tried to help or voiced the desire to help. I've seen that too. Like learned helplessness. They're just so used to being taken care of that they'll just say, could you hand me, oh my Lord, and sorry, not sorry, it's usually men. Could you hand me my pills, dear, off the table? Literally, it's an arm's length and a little trunk stretch away, and they ask their wife to get up from her seat to hand the pill, and then the wife does it. I'm not even Catholic. So there, just little changes of habits at home and kind of getting over that, a little bit of perfectionism, mostly in wives, that says, like, I just need things a certain way. And if I give him rein to start doing this stuff, the towels are going to be a mess. I'm going to have stuff. Think to yourself, how much are you driving them to therapy every week? How much are you investing in your health insurance that covers all these other things for them and medication? And how beneficial and free would it be just for you to include them around the house and say to them, this would be a huge help for me. And it's not going to be perfect, but it will be better as you go along. And it might make a huge difference in their outlook and your relationship. Don't even charge for the extra relationship advice. Okay. Oh, because I haven't gone long enough. This quote I heard over the holiday was my pastor at church. I love it because I'm a worrier. I'm an anxious personality. So I love this. I'm going to share it. Worry won't change tomorrow, but will rob today of its strength. So I thought that was powerful for me, and it's got to be to a lot of you because we all worry. So just remember that. Building it all up now isn't going to change what happens tomorrow, but it will have you missing out on today. So there you are. Thanks.